It's been another week of historic highs for K-pop's biggest acts, BTS and Blackpink. The two K-pop bands have been all over the charts. Blackpink became the first girl group and third K-pop act to hit #1 on the Billboard Artist 100 after dropping their album this month. Meanwhile, BTS was at the top of the Billboard's Global 200 charts again, featuring in Jason Derulo's remix of Savage Love. And to top it off, the boy band won Top Social Artist Award at the Billboard Music Awards this week for the fourth consecutive year. So a lot of big achievements in K-pop, and today we break down what this means for Korean artists going global, whether Korean music can evolve and diversify beyond what it is now on the global stage. For this, I'm joined by Stephen Lee, journalist and author of K-Pop Confidential, which was released last month. Hi, it's lovely to have you on the programme.
Hi, it's so great to be here again. How are you?
Lovely to see you. Thank you. I'm good. And we've also got James Lee, musician, singer and songwriter, who shot to fame as part of Korean rock band The Royal Pirates. It's lovely to have you on as well. Thanks for joining us from Shanghai.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, Stefan, let's start with you. Let's start with BTS. They've won Top Social Artist Award at the Billboard Music Awards this week for the fourth consecutive year. And of course, their single Dynamite is still doing strong on the charts. But Jason Derulo's Savage Love, featuring the boy band, it topped the Global 200. So what do you make of these achievements? And do you think this goes to show just how powerful K-pop is becoming? I mean, in the past, K-pop artists, in a way, they needed big names for collaborations. But would you say now the tables have turned?
Absolutely. Now it's the case that, a lot of these Western artists are lucky to be able to collaborate with a K-pop artist, and especially BTS. And I'm just really still reacting to BTS's performance at the Billboard Music Awards. They've performed Dynamite so many times, but each time they do it, they bring something so fresh and so new and a new energy. And they even kind of closed down part of Incheon International Airport to perform, which no one has done before. So they've really made so many new strides, even though they were already at the top of the game at the beginning of the year. It's only just gone up. And yeah, the Billboard Awards are just like a predecessor, and hopefully they do really big things at the Grammys as well.
Well, yes, Dynamite just never seems to get old. And well, Stefan, now Blackpink, what a massive week for them. I mean, they're topping the Billboard Artist 100 chart, actually followed by BTS at #2, which, of course, the rankings for the Billboard artist charts there, they are based on the number of factors such as album sales, radio airtime and social media activity. And well, Blackpink, they've also released a Netflix documentary. So with all of these achievements, I suppose, how historic are their achievements really becoming the first girl group in the world to hit the top spot on the Billboard Artist 100? And what else do you think we can look forward to?
Yeah, so I was really lucky enough to be able to interview the director of the Blackpink documentary, Caroline Suh, who's a Korean-American documentarian. And I talked to her a bit about Blackpink. And what she noted was really interesting is that Blackpink itself, they don't necessarily keep track of just all of the records they're shattering and all the accomplishments they're making. Really, they are just proving that their music just translates into every language. I think a big part of their success is just that they're just so undeniably kind of cool. And that translates into every culture. And all of their songs, many of which are produced by the legendary Teddy Park, are so cutting edge and well crafted. And their fashion concepts and MVs are always so groundbreaking. And I also think it's really just the chemistry of these four members. They're all, even though three of them are of Korean descent, they're all from different countries. And I think that brings a special international mix to them. So at this point, because they've broken so many records, I think they're beyond just being called the best, or the highest charting in K-pop, and are just artists in their own right. So I really think they're just getting started, and I think that's what you will see in the Netflix documentary.
Oh yeah, now let's bring James into the conversation. But before we get to the questions, how have you been reacting to the whole K-pop explosion here? Do you have any favorite tunes right now?
Favorite tunes? Honestly, I'm a huge Blackpink fan, and I did start my career in Korea around the same time BTS did. Like we used to share dressing rooms when we did the K-pop circuit, like doing different TV shows. So it's been interesting to see them explode from where they were to where they are now.
Right.
It's really exciting to see where it is.
Right, and actually since then, since your career in Korea, you've gone solo now, and you've been releasing your album and your singles throughout this year, and I actually really loved your song Alright, which you worked on with FX's Amber, and I really think the song brings us the kind of comfort and hope we need, especially during this pandemic. And your other songs too, like Erase and of course Liar, they're all very meaningful and they're also very touching. And my question to you is really, which song or songs on your album Castle would you say are the most personal for you, and what message do you hope to convey to your listeners?
Yeah, well, Castles is it's a product of the pandemic and being stuck in my sister's spare room in LA. If I had to pick one, I'd say Liar, because I wrote that one maybe in about an hour, and it came out very naturally. But Alright was that's not on Castles, but that's definitely a track that's pretty special to me that I released this year. And this year I've been releasing about 1 to 2 songs per month.
Of course, you went through an unimaginably tough time when you suffered a critical hand injury a few years ago, and you had to stop your career as a bass player, and that must have been a really dark period for you. How were you actually able to find the strength to move forward and really create music that's just as, if not even more amazing and so inspiring?
Right. So it was definitely through creation and community. I had friends and people around me that supported me, and it's something I definitely would not have been able to do alone. And I think creating music, it's the source of my therapy, the source of my rejuvenation as an artist. And I found out, even though I'm producing artists in China, that even though I have a few #1 songs here, for them, if I don't create and continue to create for myself, then I kind of go back to that dark place. So it's creating music is not, I don't feel it's the symbol of how far I've come, but it's the source of what keeps me going.
We've just heard about James's experience, but you released a book last month about a teenage girl in America, a Korean-American girl, aspiring to become a K-pop idol. And really, what inspired you to write this? And what inspired you to write this? And what really did you think are the unique challenges of being a Korean-American artist in the K-pop industry?
Well, just like you said, the main character in my novel, K-Pop Confidential, she's Korean-American, Candace Park, and she somehow convinces her parents to let her go to Seoul to be a trainee for a very hyped new girl group. And of course, she finds that it's much more difficult than she ever expected. Like James was talking about, there's the language barrier, and there's also a sense that she feels on the outside. Just like I think American students think they understand hard work and stress, Candace thinks she understands it, but then she just sees it at a whole new level in Korea and in the K-pop industry. And I definitely wanted to depict this experience of, feeling like an immigrant in America, but then going to Korea for the first time, feeling like an outsider or an immigrant there too, like kind of that Kyopo experience. So kind of feeling being on the outside in both worlds, and I wanted to capture that too.
And I think it really shines through. And Candace here, she really seems like she's a very passionate young girl. She's not your ordinary K-pop idol trainee. She really knows her own mind, and it seems like she has a lot of inner strength. And I was very curious while reading the book whether this was based on someone in real life, whether you were inspired by a certain artist.
I definitely was careful not to base any character on any one real K-pop idol. But of course, I have my favorite idols, and maybe there are parts of or aspects of each character that really round out Candace's character. So, for instance, my ultimate bias of all K-pop idols is Rosé from Blackpink. And I think Candace has some of those qualities. Just Rosé is Australian, grew up in Australia as a Korean, and she goes through some of those same struggles. And also a little bit Yeri from Red Velvet, because Candace is the mangna of her trainee group, and Yeri, I feel like, is such a quintessential mangna. And also Dahyun from Twice, because Candace has like a silly, playful spirit too.
And she's such a vibrant character. I highly recommend the book. And well,
Oh,
James,
thank you.
now K-pop, it really does tend to cast a rather cheery and very energetic image. The stars, of course, are so diligent and they never seem to complain, so we never really hear about the struggles that might go on behind the scenes. And well, based on your experience, what is it like, the whole journey to making it in Korea's music industry and making it big in the mainstream market? And I also wanted to hear whether there are any struggles you think Korean musicians face that really need to be changed across the whole industry as Korean music becomes bigger globally.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, I think the word "making it" it's pretty relative. Like, for example, it doesn't matter if an artist becomes a financial success, right? But if they lack the confidence to repeatedly create music or performances that it makes other people, not only makes other people happy, but it makes themselves satisfied. And I think some steps that can be taken, or maybe companies can care more about the mental health, about the artists that they foster, and perhaps offering care alongside the training that's like the super competitive training that's required, because the environment's super competitive, and I think that's part of what inspires the passion amongst a lot of the trainees, but it's also crippling to others.
Of course, Stefan, your book addresses some of those issues as well. And while, it's such a fun and enjoyable read, I think it really does offer that kind of message as well. What do you think needs to really change in Korea's music industry for it to actually become more global and diverse?
While maintaining that distinct Korean quality, K-pop will become a bit more multinational. A lot of the groups that are rumored or slated to debut in 2021 have a very strong multinational base to the members. And I think that's just what needs to keep continuing to happen. Maybe some more diversity when it comes to even, body image and body types. But I think K-pop is already doing what it needs to do to break through internationally. I don't think it needs to become more Western or anything like that. Even American fans, they don't want that. They want it to feel really Korean. So it's really exciting to see where it'll continue to go.
And James, of course, right now internationally, the color-coordinated outfits and the synchronized dance moves, they are what the world is loving right now about K-pop. But what more do you think the world can look forward to from other genres of Korean music? And on that note, could we also hear more about your future plans and also the online concert that you're performing at over this weekend?
Right. Well, honestly, I like the color-coordinated outfits. I like the synchronized dance moves. But like from pop, K-pop, I think, represents the pop sector very well. But Korean music has such a strong core of ballads and different DJs, and just so much beautiful and creative music that just kind of gets pushed to the side on the global scale. And I think K-pop is a great gateway to that. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think once you understand the lyrics, you can get past just the beautiful melodies, and you can really feel the struggle that the Korean people have had, and just the character that the culture holds. And as for me personally, so I'm playing a show on the 17th at 9:50 p.m. PT for the Joy Ruckus Club, which is the largest streaming event for Asian Americans. And it'll be a Sunday morning, I believe, here for me in Asia. And I'm going to be performing some old songs and some recent songs as well. And it's my first performance post quarantine. So I'm excited to see everybody at that show.
All right, so the Joy Rockers Club Virtual Music Festival being held over this weekend. You'll be performing there, of course. And again, as I said, your lyrics, they're just so deep, touching, personal. They resonate, and well, everyone should really tune in. And well, I'm afraid that this is where we'll have to end the discussion today. But that was Stefan Lee, journalist and author of K-Pop Confidential, which is available on Amazon and in bookstores. And also, of course, we had the pleasure of speaking to musician, singer and songwriter James Lee, joining us from Shanghai. Thank you both so much for being on the program today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
And to our viewers, thank you as always for watching. We'll be back on Monday, Korea time. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. Goodbye.